Rangi.
Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. Nice. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much. Jordan, how are you? That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. We've got a beautiful day out there. You know, we've got beautiful people and we've got amazing guests. So it's this whole weekend is going to be fantastic. I mean, do I need to introduce myself? Is there anyone here that doesn't know who I am? Excellent, see, that's half of it already finished and done. So what I like to do is, instead of just talking about myself, and just so you know, because someone will probably put their hand up, I'll go yes, and then they'll go, what are you wearing, and what does it mean, and what is that? So my top I'm wearing is got Ngāti Porou on it. So Ngāti Porou is my tribe, where I'm from, on the East Coast. So when I say that I'm just a little Māori boy from the East Coast, that's where I'm from, Ngāti Porou, East Coast. Ooh. So yeah, 35 is the highway that we're on, Highway 35. So it's a thriving metropolis of about 200 people. So yeah, but what I like to do, instead of talking about myself, is do Q&A. Because that way, at least I know when you ask me questions, I know you'd like to hear the answer, so then I will give you an answer. Yeah? Yeah? I thought I was just like, okay, that's not good, is it? So, first question, anyone got a question? Excellent, thank you very much. Have a great evening. No, here we go. Jordan, I couldn't hear you. Try that. Yay, spotlight.
Jordan, quite some time ago, you had a couple of Instagram posts about, different cookies, pies, whatever, food in New Zealand. What's your favorite sweet or dish?
What's my favorite food?
Yep.
Oh, hell. Probably food, but in capital letters. You know what? My favorite out of all is chocolate. I love chocolate. But if I'm gonna, oh man, I just love food, honestly. No, serious. Since I've been here in Germany, I've flew in, went to Hamburg, had this amazing Vietnamese, but the Vietnamese was good. It was really good Vietnamese. But they did amazing, I love ice cream. And they did amazing homemade coconut and banana ice cream made with coconut and cream. And it had little bits of coconut in there, phenomenal. And then it had Turkish. So long as it's good, I just love it. But probably one of my favorite seafoods, obviously, I like meat. And it's not that, I think myself and vegetarians go hand in hand. Like, they can have all of my vegetables. Okay? But it's power. And if you don't know what power is, it's a Blackfoot abalone. The thing I love about power is that it's muscle. It's a lean meat, seafood, and you can have it in so many different ways. And so power is, apart from chocolate, power is my favorite. and then Rangi, and then boila, and then all the other food that's good.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Hello.
Hello.
I'd like to know from all the roles you've played before, which one was your favorite role and which one was your most exhausting role?
Ooh, that, very good question. So my favourite role of all time so far, believe it or not, is probably General Ottman from Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, even though we're here to talk about Lord of the Rings, but General Ottman from Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, and the only reason why is because Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe is the only book that I've ever read, word for word, from the front page to the back page. Now, those of you who came to my Q&A last year found out that, you know, when I was younger I had dyslexia. I discovered I had dyslexia, and I also had really bad stutter and a thick tongue. So reading, because of dyslexia, reading wasn't one of my strongest points, but for some reason, Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe really caught my attention. And so, when I was cast in Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, you have to, as an actor, you have to do what they call a show and tell for the director. So you get dressed up in your costume, all your makeup, as if you're going to go on set, and you show the director. And flying up there, I was on a red-eye flight, so 6 o'clock in the morning, flying up to Auckland, sun was rising, and I felt it on my shoulder, and I realised I had a deja vu of me being 9 years old, reading the book as the sun was up, and I realised I was about to be in the movie of the only book I'd ever read. So that's my favourite role, for personal reasons. The most exhausting role, and believe it or not, I've got two. One was in Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, General Ottman, in the big battle scenes, full costume, extremely hot, summer. In 2 weeks, I lost 14 kilos. And that was just from running. All day, every day, fighting, it was hot, I was sweating, I was exhausted. So I lost 14 kilos in 2 weeks. That was one of the most exhausting. The other, believe it or not, is a alien creature I played in a TV series called Skyrunners. It was a Disney TV series, and I played an alien. And honestly, it took an hour to get into the costume. The costume was all silicone, so that it didn't breathe. And I was on a 3 foot high or 2.5 foot high reverse leg. So I was up on stilts the whole time. They built the suit so that I was curved like so. So it meant I couldn't stand up straight. So as soon as I stood up straight, I'd be pushing against the suit. I had a mechanical head that was out here. I had arm extensions that were another foot long. I couldn't see. And I was in there, the longest I was in there was for 4.5 hours. So, yeah, that was probably one of my most exhausting. So there you go.
Thank you.
You are very, very welcome.
Also, I want to say I actually came to you because of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, and here's an interesting note. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's a young me. As you can see, I still wear shorts. Is that from one of the very first ones that I did? Yeah. So that would have been in Fulda. Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I gave those shorts to Mark. No, I'm pretty sure I did, because he gave me, oh my gosh, look at this. That's, me being cool. With a hawk. Channeling my inner self. Look how young I look there. I mean, that's crazy. My hair was so much longer. Far out. Alrighty.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
It's nice to have you back, Shane.
Thank you very much.
You were already talking about your Q&A from last year, because a friend of mine wasn't there last year, and we were talking about the chocolate cookie. Well, first thing first, do you want a chocolate cookie? And would you mind telling the story again?
Yeah, I love a chocolate cookie. Absolutely love a chocolate cookie.
We've got cinnamon ones as well.
No, I'll have chocolate cookie. Thank you very much. I will, don't you worry about that. So, the story behind the cookie. So what it was, and believe it or not, it was actually was that Fulda? I think it was. It was at Fulda, wasn't it? So what happened was that I'd actually done a convention before, one convention before, and it was over in the UK at Wembley. And what happened was that I did a Q&A with Jed and Mana. So there were three of us on stage, and basically, if any of you know Jed, it was a Jed show. And because Jed loves to talk. And then Mana was a pretty boy, and he loves to talk as well. And then there was me. So I just like to do stuff. And then what happened was that, so I didn't mind doing the Q&A then because I was on stage with two of my mates. And then what happened is I came to Fulda, and I was sitting out in the green room, waiting for my Q&A. Well, waiting for the Q&A, and in my mind, I thought, oh my God, I need that photo. There's a photo up here with me and Sean Astin. Oh my gosh, I have to get, see this way, I can show that, and people believe me now that I actually know him. and anyway, what happened was I was out in Fulda, and in the green room, and the host came to get me, and they go, okay, it's time for your Q&A. And I was just like, well, where's everyone else? And they go, who? There is no one else. And I was just like, what? Where's Jed Mana? And they go, no, it's your Q&A. I said, my Q&A? And they were like, yeah. And I said, oh my gosh, how many people are there? And they were like, oh, there's a couple of hundred. I was just like, sorry? A couple of hundred? And they go, yeah. I said, for me? And they go, yeah. And in case you didn't know, so when I was younger, I had a really bad speech impediment. I had a stutter. And I, believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe now, but I actually used to hate public speaking. I used to have a real fear of it. Because what happened is that my stutter always came back when I was nervous. And public speaking made me nervous. So did girls. Honestly, that whole different story. But they were the two things that made me nervous, public speaking and girls. So my stutter always came back. And so I started breaking out into a cold sweat. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So as I'm walking out, there happened to be, and luckily for me it wasn't chocolate, it was a cookie on the plate, the whole plate. So as I walked out, I grabbed it and I put it in my hand and I walked down on stage and started doing my Q&A. And then all of a sudden the hand goes up. I go, yes! And they go, what's in your hand? And I went, nothing. And they went, no, your other hand. I went, their hand. I said, a cookie. And they go, are you hungry? And I said, no. So what it was that as I was walking out, I grabbed the cookie and I held it in my hand just like this, with a soft hand. So what it is that I worked out because I'm a protector, right? I like to protect you. So when I walked down on stage, I had a soft hand, so it meant I couldn't get nervous, otherwise I'd crush it. And I was on stage, and it meant that there was something more fragile on the stage than me. So I was there to protect the cookie. And that's honest, that is the honest truth. And I was out there protecting the cookies. So therefore, it took my mind away from being the only fragile thing out on stage. So therefore, and which is another reason why I like doing Q&As, because now I don't have to talk about myself. I get to tell stories and answer questions. But why I don't come out with a cookie now is that about 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I was at the Elf Fantasy Fair, and I was running late for my Q&A. Come sprinting onto stage, start doing it, talking, and about 20 minutes into it, hand goes up and I go, yes! And they go, where's your cookie? And I went, and I realised I'd just been doing the whole thing without my cookie, and I broke out in a sweat, started stuttering, and then I realised, no, hang on, I never had the cookie for the first 20 minutes, and until I knew that I was missing it, it came back. So I literally just went, no, I don't need a cookie anymore. And there we go. And guess what? I still eat cookies, and I still eat them. You're welcome. Oh my gosh. Yum.
Hello.
Hello.
You obviously cannot talk about your future project because there are secrecy, everything and stuff. So instead my question is, have you spoken to Andy Serkis recently?
I honestly couldn't hear that. Have I... What was the question, sorry?
Andy Serkis, have you spoken to him recently?
Can anyone...
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yeah.
Yes.
Oh look, I speak to Andy Serkis just like Sean Massey. Sean, is it? Yeah, I've spoken to him. Believe it or not, I saw Andy at the premiere of War of the Rohirrim last year. Because his lovely wife was one of the voices, and Andy was there. So yes, I spoke to Andy. Andy's doing fine.
Anything else you want to add, maybe about future projects?
Future projects?
Maybe something...
Look, I honestly don't know. I spoke to Andy, and this is the honest truth. Andy goes to me, he goes, hey, Shane, how are you? And I'm going, yeah, good things, Andy. And he goes, well, we're going to be busy next year. We're going to be busy next year. And I said, are you, mate? And he goes, no, we. And I said, do you have some rubbish bins to empty on set? And he was just like, no, mate, you won't be emptying rubbish. And I said, look, Andy, if it comes out, I'll believe it when I'm walking on set. And honestly, that's all I've heard. I haven't heard anything. I'd love to be a part of it, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I actually don't know. I mean, they're still currently writing it at the moment, so. But apparently, next year now, is going to be busy. So, how many of you would be interested in seeing that film? And I'd be very interested in being part of it, but I honestly don't know.
In that case, fingers crossed and good luck.
Thank you very much. My fingers are always crossed, and wishing you good luck too.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us this weekend.
You're welcome.
And there came a question to my mind when Laurie just mentioned the scene you had with Miranda Otto as Eowyn in Lord of the Rings. Because I remember something from the behind of the scenes stuff, that there was this prop of the mace growing more and more. And how was it to work with that prop, and how felt it?
Oh, the mace.
Yeah, the mace.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad it wasn't a real mace at that size. but it was still extremely heavy. Extremely heavy. And the longer, once fatigue sets in, I mean, any of you that knows anything about exercise or anything about lifting something, once fatigue starts getting it, doesn't matter how light it is extremely heavy. And honestly, Miranda was just amazing. She was probably the reason why I kept going. No, straight up, like it didn't matter how tired I was. She was such a professional, and she just kept going that it made me keep going. So doing that scene was amazing, and working with her was incredible. Last year was just absolutely brilliant for me, because I never expected, because I hadn't seen Miranda. After we finished that scene, she pretty much hopped on the plane and left. And up until last year, I hadn't seen her or spoken to her, and we've kept in contact since that time. And yeah, she is just amazing, an amazing woman. And yeah, so it was absolutely incredible filming that scene, because I got to make a really good friend with Miranda, and she was incredible. Although she did. After a while, because it was swapped out between me and Lawrence. The Black Witch King stuff was amazing. The Goth Rod stuff, I did all of that fight with her. So yeah, it was incredible.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hello again.
Hello.
It's great having you here, and
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure meeting you. When talking about filming The Lord of the Rings, I was wondering what has been like the funniest or most unusual experience when filming it?
The funniest.
The funniest one.
Ooh. Wow. Well, I mean, a lot of it was fun, right? A lot of filming it was fun. But I'll tell you a story that I didn't think was funny at the time, but it quickly spread like wildfire. So we were filming the scene down in Glenorchy, and it was the Rohan. They'd just taken out a whole lot of orcs. They were lying in the river, and we were filming it down in Queenstown. So it was winter. It was extremely cold. I think it was about -8 degrees. I was in shorts. A bit like those short black ones that were on there, but they were white. I was in shorts, and I had my jacket on, and we had to get to the other side of the lake by boat. And it was actually really windy, the water was really choppy. And one of the boats, we pulled up in the bus, and we were sitting in there because it was freezing. And one of the boats lost power in its engines, and it started heading towards the rocks, and everyone started panicking. So I literally stripped off, just kept my shorts on, and ran down into the river, into the lake, and it was bloody cold, and grabbed hold of the boat and held onto the boat until they were able to stop it from hitting the rocks, until they were able to start it, and then they took off, and I came back into the bus, and everyone was just like, man, you are absolutely crazy, because it's so cold. And then, now that actually brings me on to another funny story. That one wasn't so funny, it was funny for the crew, and that spread like wildfire. I got over to the other side, and everyone was just like, people was just like, who did you save the boat? And I was just like, all of a sudden it went from me stopping the boat from hitting the rocks into saving the people in it. So, but the next boat story I have, it was during Hobbit, and again, the Dwarves, right? It was Lake Town, and they were rowing the boat across Lake Pukaki. Unfortunately, none of them could row. Honestly. And the boat they were supposed to row in a straight line, and they couldn't. It kept veering off to the right. And so what happened was, they said they knew that I like pain, and I will do anything and they said, we need someone in the water. So the water was -6 degrees.
Oh gosh.
It was cold. It was cold. And they said, we need someone in the water to be in the front of the boat as a weight to make it, you know, if they started going off, you had to swim under the boat, grab it in the front, and bring it back onto, so it was a weight thing, right? So it always made it go straight. And so I went, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Jumped in the water and had a suit on, and then started doing it and did it a couple of times. And what was happening was that, you know, they'd get towed back to the beginning, and I'd just hold on to the front of the boat. No one could see me, I was underneath it. I'd get towed back. And then there was one time we were out there, and William told this joke in the boat. And I pop up and I go, oh my God, that's so funny. And honestly, the doors just shat themselves because they had forgotten I was at the front of the boat. And I kid you not, if I had toilet paper, at least 2 of them would have needed it. And yeah, it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. It was just to see their reaction and how big they jumped when I came up over the side going, oh my God, that's so funny. And yeah, so there we go.
Really cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hello again, Shane.
My friend.
I was thinking about the film Die Like a Shark you showed us last time, which I think was amazing.
Thank you.
My question is it possible to watch the film on some of the streaming networks, or is it out somewhere so that we can watch it again?
Actually, it's not anywhere at the moment, and that's a very good question. Because originally we didn't put it out in public because it was doing the film circuit. But yeah, you know what? I will try and get Nick to put it on a platform somewhere, and then what I'll do is I will put it on the MagicCon ring site. And yeah, so I will do that for you. I will try and make it possible for people to see it if you had a spare 15 minutes and wanted to rewatch it. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. No other questions? Awesome. Anyone got a joke? No, serious. You got one?
Yeah. We just need to work. Yeah. It's not going to be a joke. Sorry. But questions I can always think of. You've done quite a bit of stunt work as well.
Mm-hmm.
And has there ever been a stunt where things went wrong for you?
Oh, Bridget. There have been a couple of stunts that have gone wrong for me. But it's one of those ones. For instance, just so you know, stunts hurt. Okay, they hurt. Trick is not to get injured, because if you get injured, it means you can't work. So probably the stunt that went most wrong for me during Lord of the Rings was the Rohirrim, the charge when they ambushed the Urukai after we'd stolen Merry and Pippin, thinking it was Frodo, and the other one, Sam. And we were all in this extremely small, long studio, and we had I think there's about 40 horses in there. and there was about 75 of us on the ground, maybe even 100 with extras. And what happened was that they ambushed us, and the very first take, and the very first day, we're all, you know, Peter's like, so you've all come in and you're in front of Fangorn and you're tired and you've been running for days and days, so you're huffing and you're puffing, and so we're all in there and we're like, oh yeah. So we get down, and he goes, and what's going to happen is I'm going to go, and action, and then you guys will do your action, and the horses will come, and then I'll go, and turn. And when you turn, you'll see the horses, and you'll run. I'll go, okay, then cool, you're on this side, sweet. So we're all facing this way, the horses are at the back. And he goes, okay, and get ready. And so we're all in there, and we're all facing this way, and we're all like, and you get, and action. And you hear the riders go, rah, rah, and you're there, and you're, and all of a sudden you could feel the ground shake as the horses are getting closer. And, and then you could hear the hooves. And I see extras down the far end pop up as if to go, did we miss and turn? And Peter goes, and turn, and we turn, and we just get mown over by all these horses, like literally. So you hear, and cut, reset back to number ones. And we're like, what the action? We've got a whole 5 days of this, we're not going to survive. So what happened was we got paired up, so the riders got told if they see anyone on the ground and someone standing over them, you have to go around them. The guys, if someone goes on the ground, someone has to be above them and fight them. Okay, cool. Second take, same thing. We're on the ground and action. So, you know, yeah. And then all of a sudden it goes, and turn, and we turn, and as I turn to go and run, I see a guy in front of me go down, Shane Dawson. I see a white horse going from, they don't see me, so I run back over to Shane, just in time, and I've got a shield in this hand, and I'm hitting it in the rump of the horse, and I'm standing over Shane's head, and the horse is turns the mission in his head by about a couple of inches, getting the horse around. As I look up, another horse comes straight through, hits me. I fly a good 10 meters, hit the deck. The horse, you couldn't rehearse this. The horse stumbles, trips, and lands on top of me. So I see the eye, I can still see his eye as I look up and his head hits me. I lose a couple of teeth. So I'm there and I'm getting up. And as soon as I breathe in, I could feel the pain go through my mouth. Medics, they get the horse off me. Luckily for me, it was a falling horse, so it just lay on top of me, it didn't thrash around. And then they picked him up, he got up, walked off. I stand up and people come up and they're running and they go, are you okay? And go, yeah. Go, what's wrong? I go, I'm looking for my teeth. And what they think I did was swallow them, because that impact was so hard. Second shot of the day, I've got this massive egg on my head, missing a couple of teeth. They couldn't get me into the dentist until that evening, 8 o'clock that evening. So I stayed working all through the day and then got my teeth fixed that night. And unbeknownst to me, end of the story, 4 weeks later, I'm on set. John Darby, who was the owner of the horse, he comes up on his horse and he goes, oh, do you remember this horse? I'll go, oh, is that Tama? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's his first day back on set. I said, oh, why? What happened to him? He goes, well, after he hit you, he was out with concussion. So yeah, So there we go. That was probably one of my worst accidents on set. The other one was on Underworld, and I fractured my neck. And it wasn't as bad as when I broke it during rugby. So to me, I didn't think it was as bad. Kept working, kept hitting the ground, smashing it. And yeah, basically went to the physio afterwards. They took x-rays and I fractured my L3, and and instead of it repairing, it got worse and worse and worse. And he said I was extremely lucky that I didn't fully break it. So yeah, those are two of them. The other one's my elbow on Marco Polo, where I separated the tendon from the muscle of my tricep from here all the way up 16 centimeters. So I've had a couple. There we go.
I want to say thank you, but
And just so you know, even after all of that, I still love what I do.
Hi.
Hi.
My brother is going to fly to New Zealand for about 9 months soon. And my mother is going to visit him somewhere in between for a couple of weeks. I wanted to ask if you have any recommendations. What's there to see in New Zealand?
Oh, look, that's what's there to see in New Zealand. Well, he's here for 9 months.
Yes.
Probably not a lot. Nah, jokes, guys. There's actually 9 months, believe it or not. You would think that is a long time for him to see it. I would say 9 months. And is he going to see the whole of New Zealand, North and the South Island, or is he just moving to one certain area?
No, he has plans to go all over the place.
Okay. 9 months is going to go by just like that, and he's going to wish he had another 9 months. Because if any of you have travelled to anyone travelled to New Zealand? Exactly right. So it doesn't matter how long you go there for, it always seems as though it's not long enough. When's he going?
I think the 22nd of October.
Oh, this year?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So he'll be going in spring into summer, and then 9 months he'll be coming out, it'll be autumn, and then he'll be leaving in winter. So he's actually going in probably the best time to visit New Zealand, because the water will be warming up. The North Island's got amazing swimming beaches. Look, I'm not going to do any promotion, but if he doesn't see Hobbiton in that 9 months, I mean, honestly, he's got to go to Hobbiton, because Hobbiton is absolutely amazing. Even if you have already been, go back to New Zealand and visit Hobbiton again, because they have gone and opened up the Hobbit holes that you can now walk through. And honestly, I went through just at the beginning of this year, and I'd never seen them before, and I'd been through 5 times before. And honestly, it was a whole new experience for me. Absolutely brilliant. But there's so much to do. Like you can go diving, swimming, fishing, mountain climbing, mountain biking, kayaking, rowing, deep sea diving, whatever he wants to do, he can do in New Zealand. And there's nothing there that wants to eat him or kill him. Okay? So most people say, what's the difference between New Zealand and Australia? I say, in Australia, out of the 10 most deadliest snakes in the world, Australia has 9. New Zealand doesn't even have snakes. We don't even have them in our zoos. Our zoos aren't allowed snakes in them, just in case they get out. So we don't have any snakes. We don't have leeches in our water. tell your brother this, if he's driving around and he sees a water hole during summer, tell him to just go and go for a swim, because there's nothing in there that'll hurt him. We have no leeches. Our ticks in New Zealand, we have ticks. They don't go on humans. They only go on dogs, cattle, they only go on animals. They don't go on humans. You know, we teach our ticks well. So yeah, he's gonna love it in New Zealand. Absolutely love it. And both islands are totally different. So if he's got 9 months, 4 months in one island, there's plenty. 4 months in the other, and then gives him 1 more month to go back to the place that he loves. Yeah? There you go.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
I have another question about the famous scene between Elvin and the Witch King. That scene was famously shot twice because they changed how the Witch King looked. Were you involved both times, and do you have memories about what was different between them?
I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I can't hear a word you say.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, hello Shane.
I go, hello, 1, 2, 3, hello Shane. That bit I got. Keep going. Slowly.
The famous scene between Elvin and the Witch King.
Ah, yeah.
It was famously shot twice because they changed how the Witch King looked. And I wonder, were you involved both times that scene was shot, and do you remember anything different between those two filmings?
So the Witch King, which scene in particular?
Scene with Elvin, the big fight with the mace.
Oh yeah, right. So what it was yes, I was involved both times because I was a stunt double. So I learnt the fight and I taught the fight. There was no real. The reason why they shot it twice wasn't anything that. It was just because Pete didn't feel as though there was enough action in it. He didn't feel as though it was actually, I got 15 minutes left. He didn't feel as though it had enough, oomph to it. So he just wanted to zhuzh it up. So that's why they came back a second time to redo it. So for me, I felt that there was no real difference between the fight. It just absolutely escalated it and made it better, if you know what I mean. Did that answer your question?
I think they filmed it twice because the first time the Witch King looked too familiar to Sauron, like a different helmet. That's why they filmed it. It was filmed twice. There are pictures of it.
Well, yeah, but the fight itself didn't really change. It was a costume.
Yes.
Yeah. So the fight itself didn't really change. The costume did. What's funny though is that I know they did it, but to me it wasn't. They made that change very early on, before it actually went too far. It was when Pete and them literally started filming that he didn't like it, so then he changed it. It wasn't if they shot it all the way through and then went, looks too much like Sauron, let's do it again. They actually did it really early on, that change. So it didn't really affect the filming and the fight choreography at all, really.
That explains it. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Still says 15 minutes. That only took me 14, literally not even a minute to answer. Amazing. Anyone else? They're going to sit down. Oh, here we go.
Like I said, I always have questions. I can't really remember how long ago it was since we first met, but it's been quite a few years of events and cons that you've been to. And apart from the story with the cookie, has there ever been a very memorable moment during a con for you?
Oh, okay. There has been a couple, and I think the first time we met was in our fantasy fair, and you were Lara Croft, I think. So that was quite a few years ago. That would have been about 2006? 8? It's close. 2008. Look, probably there's been a couple of memorable moments. One was actually at the Elf Fantasy Fair, where I got to, because at the Elf Fantasy Fair, when they had it at Castle Zaha, they had a round of nights. They had a couple of rounds of nights, and I was lucky enough to be invited to go and join them for dinner and drink mead out of goblets. Never really had mead before, and it was really yummy. And then, and I got to hold a baby fox. And I'd never seen a baby fox before, and someone had found it on the side of the road when they were coming, and it was this little grey fox, and it sat in the palm of my hand, and I was absolutely blown away. Plus, I got to ride, one of my favourite horses is a Frisian, and I got to ride around with Corin. So that was amazing as the Black Riders. And then another amazing moment actually just happened last weekend at Wrexham, and it was these wrestlers came around and they wanted us, people to slap this guy on the chest, and unfortunately they picked me. And I didn't want to do it at first. I was just like, no, and they were just like, yeah, come on, slap him. I go, mate, if I slap you, I'm not going to hold back. And they go, come on then, big man. And I was just like, okay. And I did. And I slapped him so hard. No, I honestly, it echoed through the tent. And they even put on Facebook, they were just like, when I hit him, his soul left his body. That was an amazing moment for me. And also, believe it or not, just returning back to MagicCon. Because to me, this con isn't about meeting guests and that. It's about all of you who have made friendships. And it's like a big family reunion. I just did my very first meet and greet ever, just before, and I was saying, that's what I love about MagicCon, is that I just love walking around, because it's about friends, and you're all one big family, and you all come to meet each other and catch up with each other and talk with each other, and that's what I love about this con. It's not about, it is about people coming to meet the guests, but really, it's about you all connecting with the friendships that you've made. And that's what I love about this con.
Me again. You were talking about the short film we saw last year. Are there any further projects for short films that are on your mind currently?
Well, actually, it's funny you should say that, yes. I've just written and directed a short film, because I also teach at the New Zealand Drama School. I teach movement, creature movement and performance. And so they asked if I could write and direct a short film for the graduation students. So I went and wrote a short film for them, and it's called Chain Reaction. It'll get released in November. I'll be able to, show it at the graduation. And, I don't know if, I won't promise anything, but if I ever get to come back here and Dirk allows it, I'll show it here. It's only 8 minutes, real quick. Well, I was kind of set up that precedent, haven't I, with Die Like a Shark last year, and obviously it went down really well. So I've got that short film that I've just completed, And then there's another short film actually I wanted to film as well called The Pianist. I woke up one morning, had it in my head, wrote it. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this year, I'll know whether or not I've been funded for my feature film, Tonga. And then, yeah, Dirk won't let me show that here at the opening because that's nearly 2 hours. So, but yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you. Five minutes left.
Hi.
Hey.
I have one thing to add for New Zealand. You might not have dangerous animals, but you do have sandflies, which are the worst, honestly. I got like 10 bites on one foot, so no thanks. It was great otherwise, though.
Oh no, you're 100% correct, and I normally tell people that about the sandflies, and they laugh. They're like,
they're
you know?
bad. I had like drops of blood on my foot. It's like,
yeah, and the worst thing about them too is that you don't feel them until it's too late. And I'll tell you, here we go, there's another thing. So, I got told, if you get bitten by a sandfly, the reason why it becomes itchy when it gets hot is because of the protein they leave under your skin, right? So someone told me, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but someone told me, if you get a hot spoon...
It does work, they have little sticks for that.
Right, so what I did was I got boiling water in a cup, put in a teaspoon, put it on top of my arm where I got bit, took it off. I'd missed. I was just like, okay, so it's still itchy. So I put the spoon back in hot water and then I put it back on my arm again. And I waited. When I pulled it off came the skin.
That was very hard.
I've actually got quite a high pain tolerance. And for years, I had this little, it looked like a heart-shaped scar on my arm because of the spoon. And people go, oh my gosh, what's that? Is that a birthmark? I'm like, no. But yeah, no, it does work. It does, if you get it right.
Because in recent years, when mosquitoes bite me, it gets like this big and red and hot, and the heat helps.
Yeah.
Okay, actual question.
Yes.
What's your favorite movie? And if you could change it into a Muppet movie, who would be the only human?
Oh, right. Well, I'll tell you what, since that's such an intricate question, I'll make that the last one, otherwise I'll get kicked off. So, my favourite movie, believe it or not, is The Princess Bride. I love The Princess Bride. Ooh, who would be the only human in that film? Look, you know what? I'm afraid I will probably have to go Andre the Giant. Simply because I just loved his character in that, And the thing I love about that movie is that it was it wasn't built to be a blockbuster. It was built just on a fairy tale, right? And so Andre the Giant to me was a real giant. He was a real person. And so, yeah, he'd be the only human in it, and then everyone else can. Time is up. Thank you very much. Edson will come to you on stage. Look at that. Finished just in time. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the con. Enjoy the weekend. Have fun. And I will see you around out the day.
Thank you very much, Shane Rangi! see you not. Hello, ui. Oh, das ist eklig. Ich gehe mal hier. Da qualmt sich so. Hier geht's. Oh, es ist laut. Aber das freut mich so. Perfekt, liebe Technik, Dankeschön. Wir hören uns prima auf der Bühne. Hier geht's gleich weiter mit zwei Zwillingen, deren Nachnamen ich nicht ausspreche. Das macht gleich Barbara. Und mit den beiden geht's hier weiter aus House of the Dragon. Die beiden Zwillinge. Ihr wisst, wen ich meine.